I
Not
never
a lot of
hear the
games.
song. I
You
never
can't
hear
hear
it.
the song?
Well, I have to tap my phone. I have to
It's a
go
whole
through a
thing.
lot of obstacles to hear the song.
It's a whole thing with you, as is everything with you. Getting you here on time, getting you to pick out some games. It was an easy week. There's not a lot of games.
Yes,
If you throw out the FCS games, which I do not, because I love the FCS playoffs, especially when they're in
simple.
April.
Yeah,
But if you throw those out, there's just 10 games. And even that was incorrect. There are 11 because Cal has a game yet. We got the get back game at like 10 p.m. The eighth place, the seventh and eighth place match in the Pac-12 tonight.
Pac-12.
Yep. So late night Saturday night garbage game where no one cares about. We compared it to one of those bowl games that nobody wants to be in. Nobody cares. So otherwise, let's touch on some markets because markets matter and Mo matters and Mo's going to help straighten out some of the stuff here for me. I have questions. You've got answers.
Sure.
Again, Motoi Pearson, WynnBET, senior trader in charge of basically everything behind the scenes at the WynnBET Sportsbook, now available in like 7 or 8 states. Kind of amazing. The
Not
things
bad.
that Motoi is doing behind the scenes over there, just
Exactly.
expanding his reach across the country. Starting over your way, Oregon, Utah. This is not going to be played at altitude in a tough place to play in Utah. This is a different venue this week. They've played each other. Why? Explain the line to me based on what we saw in the last game, and just start with the market. Maybe refresh people's memory. The market was starting and what it finished with in the first game between these two teams.
Yeah, I think it opened three right out the gate as far as the side's concerned. And yeah, I think them losing by 30 points in Utah had a lot to do, with where the line was on a neutral. Personally, I don't know if it's obviously it's an overreaction, but Utah has played pretty well up to the point where them being a favorite in this game isn't as egregious. But they were only a 3-point favorite, 2.5-point favorite at home. Maybe there was some steam on Utah, some sharp money. But we've kind of, seen it, going back and forth between 2.5 and 3 as we thought it would be. I thought it'd be closer to 1, maybe pick. So I'm somewhat confused with, how this line kind of came up to be. But I trust the money, if anything, and it at least states that Utah should be, somewhat favored in this game.
And we did mention this though. What did we decide on, Dan? The Rose Bowl is not a playoff game. So
Correct.
like
Yeah.
this is a Rose Bowl puncher. This is a ticket puncher to
To the Rose Bowl.
Pasadena, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because at first I was looking at this, I'm like, man, is Oregon gonna give a shit? Like a week ago, they were talking about being a playoff team, and now, what are they playing for? Playing for a Rose Bowl still thing.
Yeah.
You get to wear the
Huge.
cool jerseys, you get the patch. Cotton and the orange are the playoff bowls. All right. I'm gonna have to commit that to memory for the next couple days.
I'll
We
be
gotta
there.
figure it out.
I'll be at this game tonight, man. So I'll have Oregon personally. I've already made my mind up in the third quarter of the Utah game when they were down like 25. So that's like,
what you get good tickets? Am I gonna see you on the TV?
yeah, I don't know if you're gonna see me. I'm not gonna be up dancing. I don't know. I might be up dancing, but I mean they're pretty good. I think they're near like the 40-yard line or something like that. So yeah, it's not bad. They're not bad
Yeah,
tickets.
they're not putting the ticket writers and the junior traders at the 40-yard line. That's senior trader fucking territory right there. I like that. No, have fun at the game tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
And yeah, I kind of agree with you. It's one of those things where Utah's clearly better, but probably an overreaction. And if you're getting points, maybe a little bit of a straight up look. And now they're saying Cristobal's being courted by other places as well, which is
Yeah,
dumb. Like
yeah. I just
how much dumb can you be if you want to go after him?
one of my buddies was telling me about the Cristobal stuff, and it might affect the team. And I said, I don't know, I doubt it. Like, whatever jobs all these guys already got, like, I don't know what Cristobal could possibly get, but I think this game's just as important as if he wants to get another job in the future if they don't can him. So,
Yeah.
win this game first, and then think about another job. Let's do that. Let's get that going.
I mean, not everybody did that. There's other coaches that decided that wasn't the way to go.
Well,
And those teams were halfway in the playoffs.
I'm only saying it because I bet him. I mean, I think that's my only reason. Yeah.
All right, we're supporting the Ducks, and again, full non sequitur here. My favorite, and it's not even close.
Jesus.
This is Sports Center commercial. Is the duck looking out the window and sighing because he has to work in the office and the other ducks are free to play. Baylor, Oklahoma State, noon Saturday. Cowboys, a playoff team. Somebody joked about that. Frank Brank joked about this. If the Cowboys make it in, it'll be the worst playoff quarterback of all time. And I had to
Who said
remind
that?
him.
Frank Reich?
Frank Brank, not Frank Reich.
Frank Reich said that?
Yeah, no, not Frank Reich.
Okay.
Different guy, Twitter guy. But no, he said this would be the worst quarterback ever to play in the playoffs. And I had to remind him of a young Connor Cook.
Yeah, Connor Cook played. Yeah, he was alive and well.
Connor Cook started a playoff game and an NFL playoff game for your team.
That was Raiders Texans.
Yep. Ugly stuff. Anyway,
what a great game.
This is a ticklish spot too for Okie State. Like a lot of pressure on them here. Maybe not really. Have they really been in this spot? When's the last time they won a Big 12 championship at all?
Man, I can't answer that truthfully.
No.
So I don't even know how they feel after beating Oklahoma in, the Bedlam game, in a game that's kind of been, tough for them to win in something like that. I think personally, every time I've even thought about betting against Oklahoma State, they've won their games by like an average of 20 points. So I'm trying to keep my personal bias away from what I think about the game. It opened 6.5. Under's been getting smoked. I think this thing's already moved about 2.5, 3 points towards the under at 46. And I know the graphic says 5 right now, but we actually just bumped it up to 5.5. I don't know. I'm going to respect the market a little bit more if Oklahoma State gets steamed. So, we'll try to be on the Cowboys side because Baylor's like our most popular dog up till right now.
Well,
even more than Bama, which is even crazier. Like Baylor's a more popular dog here than Bama is, which is interesting.
Well, that kind of leads me into a question too regarding just handle. Like, are you getting sick handle already, or is a lot of it going to come tomorrow morning?
Baylor, Utah, and Oregon's actually been getting a lot of action today. So, it seems like seems like consensus on when most of the handle will come in, obviously. But between the Michigan-Iowa game, which we'll get into, and Georgia and Bama, like those games have been, getting bet as soon as those lines went up.
Sick action on them, as the kids say.
Filthy.
Dan has a question. He says, Motoi, what would a line on Georgia Oklahoma State be? That's semi-likely 1-4.
Oh man, I'm trying to think about my power rankings right now. It'd be like 100.
You have Georgia at like what, 105?
Yeah, I think I have them at like 102-ish, like around 102, 103. I don't know. It'd be like
that's out of 100, guys.
17.5, maybe 18. If I just off my memory, obviously I don't have the worst memory of all time, but yeah. I think it'd be in that range.
So they're basically mid-season Arkansas.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, exactly. But once like reining you back in, every time I feel like I've thought I had Oklahoma State on the ropes, I lose by 30. So that number could be totally terrible.
Well, I'm betting Oklahoma State. If you need them, I need them. That's worked out for me. Anytime you've said you might need somebody, I've just bet them, and I think I'm like 18-0. It's the only thing I'm good at anymore. It's just
that's good. You should just keep doing that.
I'm going to. Pitt, Kenny Pickett, likely. I believe he's the favorite for the Heisman right now. If I had to, he's not. I just have tickets at him. I'd love something where. What would he'd have to have like 5 touchdowns and like propose to a cheerleader at halftime. I don't know. Yeah. A lot would have to happen, but I enjoy watching him. I think he actually probably has a bright NFL career coming for him outside of some of these other quarterbacks you see in college that are so great that don't end up. Some of them go play point guard in the NBA for Christ's sakes. Either way, Pitt is a 3-point favorite over Wake Forest, who was undefeated a good chunk of the season. Kind of a sketchy season in the ACC, and this total is nutso. What do you got cracking here in the ACC title game for action?
I think this was probably the most interesting line I've seen of all of the Power 5 conference games. Most of the people that I've spoken to thought Pitt should be like 5 or 6, even on a neutral, which I was, semi-confused, but I get it. Pittsburgh for the majority of the season was, I think, the best team in the ACC, obviously beating Clemson as well. But we've seen enough money to respect Wake Forest at 3, whether if we've been at 3, 2.5, 2.5, 15. Essentially, something like the Utah-Oregon game, where like we respect one side enough because I think we all like Wake Forest in the back. People are betting Pittsburgh back up off of 2.5. So, I kind of want to see where it.
What did you do? Are you still there? I just can't hear you. Push some buttons until I can hear you again, Mo. My goodness. Well, that's what he does. He has to futz with his phone. Things like this happen. He'll pop back in a second. You know what? And also, Dan, I don't expect a graphic in this amount of time, but I think I am going to throw the curveball of Western Kentucky at him eventually here. So we'll probably touch on that once we get there. Look at that. You're back.
I don't think there could have been a worse time for someone to call me on this phone.
Oh, somebody called you?
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Hello?
Who called you?
My dad.
Oh, God.
Me. No,
Mr. Pearson.
Anyway, between Wake Forest, I'm trying to see what this
just
number's
right back
into
into it. I love this.
I'm trying to see where Wake Forest will be by the end of kick. I like Wake Forest so much in it. I hope it gets bet down that way because we're somewhat booking towards it.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of lost my train. My train of thought was off when you went MIA for a second. I believe you though. So
we were crushing.
Who will you need?
Dad.
Who do you need here?
Besides
right now, your dad to call it a different time.
He's I don't know how he's involved here, but I think we need Wake Forest at this moment.
Okay.
Right now we need Wake Forest, but I feel like we're going to get more Pittsburgh money, so I'll figure it out.
Well, then I'm on Wake Forest. Here we go. All right, the good ones: Michigan, Iowa. Dan seems to think Iowa won't score. I'm not that far from believing it. I've seen this Michigan defense was a monster, just physical, just pushing people around, winning at the line of scrimmage, taking down a pretty scary ass offense. And you can say a lot of things about Iowa, but I don't think you're ever going to say they have a scary ass finesse offense.
No way.
So, how low can this total go?
Man. They've already bet it down somewhat enough for us to know that they think the same way what we're saying as far as anybody that's getting down either public or respected money we've seen. If Michigan doesn't cover, multiple parlays are going to die. Like this is the one that everyone is putting in their 3, 4, or 5 teamers. So Michigan -11, it could be like -18 and they would still be betting Michigan. So this is probably the more the most popular favorite bet on the board as far as WynnBET's concerned. And, we would be happy if the Hawkeyes could at least score a little bit to stay inside of the 11.
I like that. I'm taking a note on that. I wrote that down in the notebook.
Yeah.
Why don't you just book it out to 18 then?
I thought about it. They were talking about something about me getting fired, so it was weird.
Berg says, "Don't set the computer down. Go home. Call the weekend." All right, the granddaddy of them all, which is not what they call this. That's actually the nickname for a different game, which we already mentioned. But
I'm still on there.
Very good game. It's a very good game, and yeah, it's the first time in 90 some games Bama's a dog. They're not just like a 2-point dog here. We're closing in on touchdown territory as you just keep adjusting your phone.
Sorry.
I'm just teasing. Are you? You already kind of alluded to it. You're seeing dog money on Bama because people are just. I think there's 2 trains of thought I've seen just on Twitter, talking to people, even like sharp people. I've seen a pretty big gulch in the disagreement here. It's like either Georgia's crazy good. Have you seen this defense? They're beating everybody. It's just like, can you imagine if they had a quarterback? They'd win by 75 every game.
Yeah.
And then there's the other train of thought. It's like, LOL, I get Bama as a dog. What are you kidding me? I'm putting my first sport on this. So which one's going to win out in the markets?
Oh, man. So I think this is the most surprised I've been as far as how interested I was in the Pittsburgh line is that the majority of money and the ticket count is already on Georgia, where I thought the train of thought that we were talking about as far as Bama, being a dog would be more popular. But I haven't seen it yet. It's 70% on Georgia on the tickets and it's like 80% on the money. So My thought is obviously we were just talking about, most of the handle will be coming day of. People will probably get to the sports book, see Bama if they're not already looking at it, and they'll be taking as much 6 or 6.5. So I don't know. I mean, it's not like Bama's like a square side considering the ticket count, but maybe it might even out a bit more up to game time.
I just want to ask you this as far as somebody who might be interested in Georgia. Are you thinking the public money, the perception money, the people walking in and saying or pulling up their app and saying, I'm getting Bama at this price is going to be enough to push it where if you want to bet Georgia, I'm saying if you want to bet Georgia, should you wait? Do you think this gets pushed down to 6 or even past it or a 6 flat?
Well, it opened 4.5, 5 at a lot of
Yeah.
respected books. And, right after that Iron Bowl, it wasn't like maybe in the second quarter, we've seen that thing go up to 6, 6.5.
Yeah.
So I think bookmakers agree that the number is right. So I can't imagine, there being enough money to push it back down like past 6 or like maybe to like 5.5. But, even 6 might be somewhat of a good number if like 6.5 is market. I can't really make the call on how much money it could actually be on Bama for it to kind of go back to the opener.
But I mean, just on the other side of the coin, you don't foresee just Georgia money piling in this going to 7.
No, and I think for many people that I've talked to, we haven't got to 7 yet. But anytime there has been 7s out there, they've been gobbled up. So I don't really know how key it is. I would say there's a better chance of this market getting to 7 and staying there than getting back down and waiting for it to be 6 at kick. I think it's probably a better chance that it could actually go to 7. And some books will probably just stay there, considering.
And they stay there. Tonight. Surprise. Actually, I kind of mentioned we might talk about this. I want to talk about this because some places have booked this all the way out to straight up flat 3.5 on the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. And this, if you look back, I think I'm looking at Pinnacle's lines. Somebody in the offshore / Canadian markets, it was 2.5 the other way.
Yeah.
Like this has moved precipitously towards Western Kentucky. Are we at a bridge too far here? 3.5. What'd you guys fire up? What'd you guys fire up at first?
So the system, when the number got put in, was put in because of, other books getting open. So unfortunately, like it just kind of like electronically came in as -2 UTSA. And me and Lindy's numbers were, he had like 3 and I had like 1.5 Western Kentucky. So luckily we didn't take enough, like a bunch of bets at +2 or whatever, kind of got it to 2.5 on UTSA and, kind of stuck on the right side. So we just been following it up. Today, I just seen a bunch of money getting bought back on the Road Runners. And then as soon as it got back to that, like to 3 -20, it immediately got shot back up to 3.5. And that just happened within like 2 hours ago of us talking. So, fortunately, we didn't take a bunch of money on what could have been like a crucial mistake on what our numbers were. But, we respect Western Kentucky's been an absolute powerhouse. As soon as they played the rough end of their schedule, they've been crushing opponents. So I can see why they're favored in a spot like this, even with the, Coach Traylor selling out this game with like 20,000 fans or whatever it is.
Yeah, they're giving away tickets at the grocery store, I heard.
Yeah, that's it. Call it.
Yeah, you go down to Dollar Tree and you spend $5, you get a free ticket. You can go.
It's a pretty killer deal.
Honestly, it's not a bad deal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm excited for obviously the conference title games. It should be a good one, but we also have some NFL action this weekend I want to touch on before we'll do FCS at the end. I'll let you get there.
Sure.
Bears Cardinals. And honestly, when I sat down and said I want to ask Mo about this, there was a lot less clarity. This is actually a lot less fun of a market right now that the news has kind of come down. It's looking, and I'm wondering where you guys are booking. Are you booking no Kyler, no Hopkins? Do you have full limits on this right now?
Yeah, I think we have full limits on it right now.
Ballsy.
It's tough. Ever since the Panthers-Cardinals game, which was like an anomaly where we like booked towards Kyler playing, he doesn't play, we get absolutely unloaded on Panthers and they win by 20. Like we don't want another be in a position like that. So I think we're respecting the market more, even if we aren't taking bets, and we'll respect it enough to at least move, before we we're like trying to save more bets and take more bets in a position like this, considering the news. But I think it's been more under than we've seen on Bears or Cardinals. So I think the under is becoming much of a bigger priority for us to be booking towards.
Yeah, you're not seeing a massive move on this side. It's just that total was 46 at some places and it's
Right.
come down
Yeah.
pretty
And
heavily.
our limit, obviously Monday and Tuesday, the limits aren't as crazy. But like guys that we respect even later in the week when they come in and bet, if they're betting like 45 and a half, 45, I mean, we're trying to move that thing at least a point and a half to get ahead of it because, they obviously have a clue on where it's going to close.
I like that. It makes me nervous for this total now. I probably won't get involved. I probably won't get involved in this game at all. All right, back to your neck of the woods, your nape of the way. Vegas Raiders, Washington football team. I'm trying to remember what I was going to ask about this one. This is another one too where Vegas kind of has been getting faded here. Washington, I believe, was a 3 at some places. I'm not sure where you guys opened up. I've seen some football team money. It's one of those where I saw people trying to do it last week where they said, Washington's getting too high in the market. They've won a couple games. We're going to have to go against them. And boy, I mean, do you remember that Seahawks team?
It was, man. And I think I was recovering that day too. So someone was like texting me. I wasn't at work watching it, but they're like, yeah, Seahawks is getting crushed. And I couldn't even believe that.
You've got to be kidding me, Mr. Pearson. This is probably a girl. We gotta get him a laptop. I gotta talk to Berg about this. Sitting here, poor guy's doing it on his phone, doesn't know how to turn on Do Not Disturb.
Time where I've taken phone calls like this during the show. I'm like sort of a hot commodity today.
I'm gonna get you a laptop. I will personally buy you one.
Don't send me, please. I'll call someone for a laptop. I haven't had a laptop in like 5 years.
I have like 4. I'm just gonna mail you one. Get you a Chromebook, baby.
Make sure you autograph it to me, please.
I honestly will. I might be out there soon. True, I missed the old joint. Anyway, back to the Raiders.
We opened, I think, Washington 1.5 or 2. Sawyer, our boy, young Guile, is a big fan of the Raiders in this game, of course. So, we tried to open as low as we could, and we did a pretty good job of where it is now. It's just weird. It's been between 1 and 2. It's kind of just bouncing around. We're not really trying to move it. We've been at 1.5. I don't know where this thing's going to end up. I'm just, seeing where the money is so it can push us towards where we could book it on Sunday because it's a pretty interesting deal on how it, ended up moving. And I still think there's going to be a lot of takers on football team, even with, how highly they've been playing or at least winning games.
Yeah. It'll be curious if we see that steam. I don't know if it was Seahawks steam or anti-football team steam but that game day steam was stupid. Like,
yeah,
I mean, people were betting Seattle like they knew the final score. Like, what is going on here? Like, are we sure Russell Wilson's fine? Obviously, a whole different situation. They were betting on a possibly injured quarterback. That's usually not a good way to pad the pocketbooks. Last NFL side, the flexed game. This game got flexed. KC Denver. Drew and I made a pretty strong case for the 10 here, taking the points with Denver. It's a nice matchup if there is a team that can continue to do that whole game plan where you run some too high, you do some things to limit the big plays and just keep KC within arm's reach. Denver has that kind of team set up already, but this total has gotten hammered down. I want to say there was 49s, maybe even a little higher in the market, and pretty consistent under money coming in. What have you got over there?
It's been mostly we have that WynnBET hour where we offer -105 on both sides. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And for this week, we did the Monday night football game, Thursday night football game, and the Sunday night football game. So we didn't have much action on either side. I think it was just more Chiefs, but just $50, $100 bets. And as soon as we put the -105 on the 10, we just got ransacked on Broncos. So we were taking like dimes here, dimes there on Broncos.
That's what I was asking. What's the full limits at -105?
Yeah, essentially. Well, they weren't black because I think at that time It was full limits, but even then, not too many people are paying attention, and the only guys that do, they only bet a couple dimes here and there, but it adds up, especially on a promo deal like that. So we ended up moving to 9.5 because we were like, well, it's not like we wanted to take those bets, but that's kind of how it ended up, and the total's been kind of getting buried, but just taking all those bets on Broncos was kind of rough in itself.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't do those promos there, Mo.
No, it's got to.
If you're going to complain about
man.
it is for the people. We appreciate it. -105 is a big deal. Like,
yeah, no, at plus
people
10,
don't understand that.
It's pretty. Yeah, I think it's huge.
1.952 people for any Europeans listening on here as your decimal odds. All right, let's do some FCS before you're done. I mean, you're done after this. You went in. You've been at work since like 6 a.m.
Yeah, man. I'm not tired
us.
though. I actually, after we spoke, I like immediately went to sleep. So I feel good. Yeah.
When you called me last night.
Yeah. You were in your jammies.
Production meeting from my bed last night, just talking to Mo. All right, FCS, give me a play.
Tonight, Montana.
Not even Saturday, huh?
No, well, Saturday, I don't know if I kind of like James Madison, but I keep saying I like James Madison, so I can't continue on that. But tonight, it's something I've been thinking about for a week, and it's Montana. They get another crack at Eastern Washington at home, which is a big deal for them. They lost their first game as a 6-point dog on the road on the red turf, the fire turf, which is a great game.
The blood rug,
baby. So, not much of a revenge factor. I just think Montana wasn't really playing well. That was like their first loss, and then they kind of had some other losses there to some decent opponents. But they kind of righted the ship before they got their seeding, before the playoffs started. Montana's been between 2.5 and 3, and we've seen some steam on the Grizz up until now. They're 3.5, 4. I'm not really a big believer in buying points always, but I mean, if you could buy it down to 3, my number was around 5, 5.5 after adjusting. So I kind of like the Grizz, huh?
You know what I do? A lot of people will buy that to 3. You know what I do?
What?
I sell it to 4.
Is that your move?
That's my move.
I like it. I'm not bad.
Everybody zigs. I'm gonna zag.
Yeah.
Zags might even play tonight. They do not play tonight. Pretty light slate in the college basketball. How has been? We'll close with that. How's college basketball like?
All the morning.
Handle.
Any sharp person on the planet is betting college basketball from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. Like, it's just nonstop.
You gotta get up earlier.
So, it's been good. Even with just as many sharps betting it. It's becoming just as popular. So Feast Week was pretty good for us. I think it was very profitable in some select states. But, for the most part for us, we like it. I think we're going to start getting a handle on it. Lindy will probably in the next month or so. So hopefully we still have some, fun stuff that we can give out or promos we can do for college basketball going forward.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get up earlier. I've had a few sides and a couple totals now where it's like, hey, fuck, I got like 4 points of value here. And I look, I'm like, well, if I'd have got up and bet this at breakfast, I'd had 6 points.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Like, they do get steamed awful early, and that's the thing. Overnights with limits around 250, maybe at some places, especially on totals. Some places like $100 on totals or not listing extra games at all. So it's a trick. It's a trick to get down on some of this stuff real early, but that's why I just wait. I'm just going to wait and not deal with that horse shit at all.
That's okay. I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I'll just bet it and steal numbers. Motoi, Pearson, WynnBET, Senior Trader. We'll get him out of here before he takes another phone call. Call it a weekend. I hope do you have to work tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be here at 6 a.m.
Jesus, why? There's 100 and some college basketball games too.
I can't wait. It's going to be incredible. Tomorrow I'll be tired. You can mark that down.
I'll put that down. That's your other lock of the week. So Montana -3.5. Andy's playing it at 4. We're going to need some Wake Forest. What was the other one you needed real quick?
Iowa.
You'll need Wake Forest. Yeah. So I'll be on Wake Forest, Iowa, and Montana, Iowa, and then whenever the Bulls play again, I'm betting them.
Come
on. Let's go.
All right.
You telling me you can't hear this music right now? Shake your head. Okay.